Tony, welcome to the show. Tell us why you're an expert and what Asset Insight does.
Asset Insight at its core is an aircraft appraisal company, and we appraise aircraft like any other ASA appraiser would, except that we also have an automated system for grading and appraising aircraft the same way an appraiser would go through and appraise an aircraft. Our automated system goes through the same steps to evaluate the value of an aircraft.
What goes into an aircraft appraisal?
The part that goes into it that has the greatest influence on the aircraft's value, aside from the total time and total cycles that are on the airplane, is whether or not is what the status of its maintenance is at the time it's being evaluated. Maintenance status can play a huge role in an aircraft's value, and it can actually separate what I call a low price from a good value. The recommended service bulletins and even some of the optional service bulletins can actually add value to the aircraft. They can differentiate an aircraft in terms of its specification, really, by virtue of the service bulletins that have been conducted on it.
How do you tackle maintenance projections for aircraft? How do you look at those? What do you throw into that when you're evaluating an aircraft?
Our system is designed to really examine where the aircraft is line item by line item, which can have a pretty significant impact on the value of the asset. The other thing that we look at is hourly cost maintenance program coverage. Does the aircraft have hourly maintenance program coverage? And that's not something unique to us. I mean, pretty much any appraiser will look at that as well. There are aircraft that are more affected by hourly cost maintenance program coverage than some. If you're flying a turboprop, the effect of hourly cost maintenance program coverage is there, but it's usually minor. If you're flying something large and long range, where 80% of the aircraft are on hourly cost maintenance program coverage and your aircraft is not, you will actually suffer, are likely to suffer, a penalty on the value of the aircraft. That doesn't mean you can't sell the aircraft. That just means that you may, in fact, suffer a penalty perhaps as much as equivalent to having had the aircraft on the program, yet you haven't received any of the benefits of the program.
Will you explain a little bit about things that a buyer should look for in the contract for the engine maintenance program to make sure that they're getting what they think they're getting?
Yeah, the first thing that I tell everybody to look for is make sure that the program is transferable. If the program is not transferable, you don't really have a useful program. Number two, you need to read the contract to understand exactly what it is that you're being covered for. Engine programs differ. It doesn't make them good or bad, they just differ. And when the differential is reflected not only in the price, but in the coverage. And there's also a number of people that will tell you that they're covered by an engine program. Well, what they forget to tell you is that engine program is a pro rata program. And while they are covered for unscheduled maintenance under a pro rata program at 100%, they're not covered at 100% for scheduled maintenance.
Asset Insight has a subscription service. What does that entail?
It's called eValues, and it allows you to track an aircraft from the moment you put it on the service until your subscription expires. The eValue service tracks the aircraft on a daily basis, and it tracks basically three components. One is the actual current value of the aircraft, or the estimated current value of the aircraft. The second is the aircraft's maintenance status and projected maintenance over the next 60 months. And the third is the aircraft's marketability. The aircraft's marketability is perhaps the most interesting of the three in some respects, because it gives you an opportunity to understand how long your aircraft is likely to be on the market. The aircraft's marketability is what we call the exposure to price ratio. And it's really the maintenance exposure of the aircraft, how much maintenance is embedded in the aircraft at any given point in time. And that figure divided by the ask price of the aircraft will give you a ratio. When that ratio crosses 40%, the aircraft's days on market tend to rise exponentially.